So I want to talk to you guys about my journey in music. Yes, started first song, nobody fuck with me. Second song, nobody fuck with me. Third song, nobody fuck with me. But I kept going, and I'm happy to say that today, more people fuck with me. If I'm slurring my words a little bit, guys, forgive me. I've just had a Hennessy and Coke. The only time I would leave my room is when my mom would call me, Money Salah, come and do the washing up. Money Salah, go and hoover the house. Growing up African, you know.
Looking up at skyline, let the sunshine, raindrops go away, away, away. No, no. Looking up at skyline, let the sunshine, raindrops go away, away, away. And I know I'm on my way. And I know I'm on my way. And I know I'm on my way. I'll leave my hand.
Hey guys, my name is Jay Moni and this is Jay's World. Welcome back to the channel, guys. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are great. For those who don't know, my name is Jay Moni and this is Jay's World. So welcome to my world. If you've been here before, it's good to have you back here again. Thanks for coming back to show the girl love and check your girl out. And if you're new to the channel, it's good to have you here. Welcome. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel before you leave and hit the notification bell to stay abreast of more great videos. So on today's video, guys, I wanted to share something a bit more personal on this video. So I want to talk to you guys about my journey in music. Yes, I want to tell you guys about how I got into music and and my journey so far. So, make yourself a drink, sit down, roll a spliff. I don't know how you guys get down, but do whatever. And yeah, stick with me for a little bit. So, I started releasing my music in 2015. Started with my first song, Shigage. But I've always been writing melodies, writing bars, writing raps mainly. I started writing music at the age of 14. I stole 2 CDs from my brother. If you guys have ever read my biography, before that, let's go back. Let me start at the start of the story, so you guys get all the tea. So my dad bought me. If I'm slurring my words a little bit, guys, forgive me. I've just had a Hennessy and Coke, so your girl's feeling a little bit happy. So forgive me if I'm slurring a little bit. But let's get straight to the story and into today's video. When I was about 15 years old, my dad bought me and my sister one of those old school sound systems. It had the CD, it had the cassette player, and it had the radio. Do you guys remember those ones? Like, we're going way back. Millennials, you guys might not get this. But back in the day, so the way I used to make playlists was I would listen to the new songs on the radio and I would buy like an empty cassette and I would stick it in the sound system and I would listen to the radio. And when a song came on that I really, really liked, I would quickly press record and try and get it at the beginning of the song and then quickly press stop or pause right where the song ends and before the radio DJ would start talking. And then when he went back to the music, if it was a song I'd liked, I'd do it all over again, press start recording again, then pause it before he started talking. And that was how I kind of compiled playlists back in the day. But when my dad bought me this sound system, therein began my love for music. I would lock myself up in my bedroom and just listen to the radio. Like, literally, the only time I would leave my room is when my mom would call me, Money Salah, come and do the washing up. Money Salah, go and hoover the house. Growing up African, But apart from that, like, music was my happy place. Listening to that CD player, listening to songs. And I remember, like, we had this family friend and we would meet up on a Sunday, and they were my parents' friends, but they had kids that were similar ages to my parents' kids, like my brothers and sisters. And I remember, like, the one that was similar to my age. I'm not gonna say her name for confidentiality or whatever, but we were really into the Spice Girls at the time. So we would like learn all the Spice Girls songs, and then we would go and perform for our parents. You know, like after like Sunday lunch, we would go and perform. If you wanna be my lover, you gotta get with my friends. And I was always Scary Spice. Like, why was I always Scary Spice? Like, because I was darker skinned or something, I don't know. But I was always Scary Spice. So yeah, man, I was a big Spice Girls fan, I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, so I love music. And I remember like when I stole those CDs from my brother, and I would go and listen to it in my CD player. And one of those CDs was, he had a Biggie Smalls album, and he had a 2-pack single, which had the Dear Mama single, and I think it was I Wonder If Heaven Got a Ghetto on the B side. And I would listen to that Dear Mama, and one day I was like, let me try and write my own rap. So the first rap I ever wrote was about my mom, and I was like either 14 or 15 at the time. When I reached the age of 16, I was already writing and spitting. And when people, like, when I was hanging out with people, I'd be like, yo, let me rap for you. And so I would, and everyone actually thought I was pretty dope. And I was actually pretty dope. I actually reckon I was a much better rapper back then than I am now. And I remember meeting someone called AQ Wolf. And AQ Wolf was he was a lot older than me at the time, and he was a rapper, and he started his own label. It was called Black Cash Entertainment, and he signed me as the first lady of Black Cash Entertainment. I was the kid in the group, you know. It was only men, and I think at one point he brought another female in. She was a bit older than me, but she was a singer. So I was the only female rapper, and I was 16. And he came and he had a meeting with my parents, and he was like, yo, we really, like, she's really talented, and we think we can push her in the right direction. Give us, like, let us work with her. And my parents were like, nah, she got to go school. She got to do her degree first. She got to, you know, do her degree, get that knowledge before she can do all the music stuff. But anyway, you know, I was like, I'm doing this. I don't care. So me and him continued to work together. And it reached a point where he was like, okay, you need to make a demo now, and we need money for you to make a demo. So it's going to cost £500. Can you give me £500 and we'll make you a demo? And I was like, I'm 15 years old. Like, where am I going to get £500 from? So I went to my best friend. Her name is, I can't say her name. Let's call her B. I went to my best friend, and she always knew everything that was going on. We've been best friends since 13, and she knew about my music. She was very supportive. And so behind her parents' back, she went to her bank and emptied her savings, and she gave me the £500 that I needed to go and make my demo. So she gave me the money, and I would pay her back later, and I took the money, and I gave it to this guy called AQ Wolf, and I was like, let's make this demo. I want to do music. This is what I want to do. We made one track. We never quite made the demo. We made one track, and he was like, okay, let's push this. But at some point, Sony Records and Jive Records got to hear this track. It was called Guns N' Roses, and they really liked it, and they were interested in me, in developing me and giving me like a development deal. But AQ, who had found me at the time, even though I didn't have any written agreement with him, he was representing me because I wasn't too familiar with the music business. And he kind of said that they couldn't have me unless they signed, the only way they could have me was through his label, Black Cash Entertainment. Anyway, it never quite happened. They weren't interested in that deal. So that kind of blocked my deal. And the other thing that never really quite happened was my demo that I'd given him £500 for. I only got one song. We were supposed to do 5 songs, you know. So after that, I think after a while he stopped answering his phone. I was like, yeah, whatever. So I went to uni, like, as per my parents' wishes, and I did all that, did my masters. But at some point, and I totally wasn't really even in the music industry, wasn't even writing bars. But at some point, I got introduced to someone called Oyabon. He was a record producer from Streatham. And he had a studio in his house, so he would invite me over, and we started making music again. But this time, where I'd been strictly a hip-hop artist before, Afrobeats were starting to get popular in the UK, So I too was also listening to a lot of Afrobeats at the time. So with Oya, we started to make more Afrobeat sounding tunes, like mix those hip hop and the African vibes. And then incidentally around that time I started making a conscious decision to go back to Africa every year. And in 2015, on one such holiday, I decided I wanted to go to the studio and record a song. So every time I go back to Nigeria, my cousin Femi, he's the guy that would drive me around, show me the ropes. Like we rode, we did everything together. Every time I'm around, whether it's 2 weeks, we're like this. Like wherever I'm staying, my hotel, my apartment, wherever, he'll come and we got each other's back. Because you know, Nigeria's that kind of place where if you don't know too much, if you don't know the ropes, like, you know, they will teach you. So it's good to, and sometimes it's not good when they teach you like that because you end up losing money or getting fucked over. So he was that guy just to make sure I was straight and narrow. So I remember like I was like, Femi, yo, I want to go to the studio, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, okay, let me call someone. The guy that we knew wasn't in town at that time. I think it was December. So he was out of town for Christmas. But he gave us another number of another guy. And he was like, yo, go and see this guy. He's a producer. He's got a studio, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, cool. So we were staying quite far away from where this producer was. I think we ended up having to get like 2 or 3 taxis. It was a long ass journey. I just remember being so hot and bothered and just in that heat and traveling in a taxi just wasn't ideal, you know. But eventually we got there, and when we got there to the studio, the producer wasn't there. I remember getting there tired, hot, bothered, and this producer's not there. And so there's like these 2 goats just chilling outside the house, you know, like these 2 goats, and the goats are looking at me and I'm looking at the goat, and like, and his neighbors are like, oh, he'll be back soon, just wait for him, the studio's all locked up. We're ringing him. He's like, oh, I'm around the corner, I'll be there soon. African time. When an African person tells you they'll be there soon, don't believe them. It's like, I'll be there soon. But he eventually comes through, and we get to the studio. He plays me some beats, blah, blah, blah. I listen to them. And one of them was like, I was like, this is the one I want. That song ended up being Shigege. When I came back to the UK, I wrote my verses, I recorded the song, and I sent it back to the producer, who also happened to be a singer, and he sang and wrote the chorus for that song, and that was my first single called Shigege. Ever since then, I've been dropping my own music as an independent artist. From Shigege, I dropped Love No Good Die, Chronic and Tonic, Just in the Way, Live Your Life, Joy Dada, Pe. So I think I've dropped like 8 singles out there now. And so that's really my journey in music in a nutshell, because there's been so many other things I've left out of this story. But it was just basically like starting at a young age on hip hop, and ending up as the first lady of a collective, of a rap. We were like, I guess you could say we were like the Rockefeller Records, and I was the lady of that. So it was like a record company in-house deal. And that, growing up with them, really made me sharpen my skills, because they were some really, really dope ass rappers, you know. So being in the studio with them kind of gave me that early introduction as to how to write lyrics, how to compose your lyrics, how to compose bars, how to rap, how to freestyle. Like we would do freestyle ciphers in the studio, and I continued all that through uni. Like even while I was studying, I was like, I met this crew, and we just used to roll on the weekends when we get together. We'd smoke weed and just rap, freestyle, do like freestyle circles and all that. And I must say, like, I always like started music and rapping around men. I don't know why, but that's just been my story, you know. I've always, like, all my introduction to music, I've always been around guys. And I think that has really helped me, because I don't compare myself to many females. Like, I grew up around men who were so competitive with it that it kind of made me feel like it really sharpened my skills, and to be able to stand amongst them and get their approval. And don't get it twisted, like any circle of people that I'm in, when I rap, I think that people understand that I'm not somebody who started rapping yesterday. My technique is a little bit different. And when I fell in love with Afrobeats, going back to, I think it was in my 20s, in my sort of mid 20s, early to mid 20s, when I fell in love with Afrobeats. I then started to cultivate a different sound and trying to find a way that I could mix hip hop with this Afrobeat sound that I really was in love with. And I think like over the years, from working with Oya Bun to where I am now, I have kind of coined my own style, which I call Afro hop. Which is that mixture of hip hop and Afrobeats that has greatly influenced me. So that's my story in music. I continue to try and define my own sound. I've always been so grateful to have the gift of music, because for me in my life, like, music occupies a space that nothing else could ever fill. You know, it's something that has the power to lift my mood in an instant. The musically creative part of me is something that I need to express often, like even writing songs, through songwriting, through recording, through the studio session. I just need to do these things more often. So that's my story. You know, I grew up a hip hop head. I fell in love with Afrobeats in my 20s, and I started trying to craft my sound to make it sound a bit more like that, to connect with my roots, even as I was doing that, by going back to Africa more often. I go back to Africa, by the way, guys. I've been going back to Africa every year for at least the last 7 years. I do not miss going back to Africa. I go back there to connect with my roots, to see my peoples, to see my dad, and just to feel grounded again. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my story, music. To be honest, like, I'm listening, I'm thinking, I'm hearing myself, and I'm thinking, this is so broad. Like, how do I condense all these years in like a 20-minute, 15-minute video? It's not possible. There's so many elements along the way. Music has brought me so many heartbreaks. It's brought me so many pleasures. It's brought me so many good times, and it's brought me so many highlights. So let me share a few highlights with you before I go. One of the highlights of my music career so far was being invited by the Kuti family. If you don't know who Fela Kuti is by now, then I don't know, man. You just don't know Afrobeat. And I hope you watched my last video. And if you don't know who Fela Kuti is, go and watch my last video explaining the difference between Afrobeat and Afrobeats. So like I was saying, one of the highlight of my music career was being invited by the Kuti family to come and perform at the O2, to celebrate the life of Fela Kuti. I did that in August 2019. Big achievement for me. I've also won 2 music awards. I am currently the Best Afrobeats Act of 2019. The awards I held in December. So the one for 2020 has not been held yet. But yeah, I'm currently the Best Afrobeats Act of 2019. Won the same award again in 2018. So I am a double music award winner. Thank you, God. I thank God for my blessings. It's an honor, you know, like I told you guys earlier on in the video that when I started music, I've had so many like ups and downs with it. Some of the downs is just being around the wrong kind of people trying to take advantage of your talent. And to be honest, I found more success in music when I have just been like, you know what? I'm a solo artist, I'm an independent artist, and I get things done myself. And I've actually seen more progress. As you see me today, I am currently the sponsor, the writer, I do everything when it comes to my own music. And, you know, it is getting to that point now where I need a team around me. But for any artist out there, who, you know, you don't know how to navigate the industry and all that, I would just advise you to start. If you have a song, just get it out there. It's funny how things start to fall into place once you take action. I didn't start releasing my music until I was 29 years old, which is very late in life, because I always thought that I needed somebody to help me get to where I am now. but I didn't. I just needed to do it myself. And once I started, first song, nobody fucked with me. Second song, nobody fucked with me. Third song, nobody fucked with me. But I kept going, and I'm happy to say that today, you know, more people fuck with me. And yeah, and they will with you too, so just keep going. So for those who wanted to know my journey in music, I do apologize because this video does not even really begin to kind of describe it, but it's just a broad background as to how I got into music and why I started making Afro beats music. If you want to check out my music, I'm gonna drop some links below. My latest single is called Pepper Pear. If you really want to know about Afro beats, go and listen to the sound, because like I explained in the last video, like Afrobeats is Afrobeat influence with the influences of R&B and hip hop and other and bashment and other sort of modern musical genres. Okay, and I feel like Pepper Pear, my latest single, is a song that definitely exemplifies that. So go check it out if you haven't. Listen guys, that's my story. I think that's it for today's video. It's gone on a bit longer than I expected it to, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Listen, before you go, make sure you hit that like button, drop me a little comment, tell me what you think about the video, and don't forget to share. Help your girl grow by subscribing. Remember, we are trying to get to 1,000 followers. Listen guys, thank you for coming on week in and week out to hear me just chat shit in front of a camera. Like, how do you guys do it? No, I really appreciate that you guys listen to me and support the channel. So I'm gonna be back real soon with a new video. I'm gonna see you guys soon. Listen, stay well, stay blessed, have a good week, and you know, stay positive, stay happy, and don't forget that there is nothing, absolutely nothing in this world that you are not capable of doing if only you believe. I'm gonna see you guys real soon. Love y'all. Mwah.